we can maybe see a lesson or two in our own lives, and it's a lesson or two. What does that all come down to? Like creating a wonderful experience for someone else. What does that all come down to? And again, we want to sort of play off of, what got me thinking again was this passage we read yesterday from the book Secrets of Heaven, number 3033, where it talks about the significance of goodwill, like to really wish well from our hearts for other people. And it says goodwill, this wishing well from our hearts, the best for other people, forces us to think, decide, and act in keeping with itself. So we have this goodwill, really trying to serve other people as best we can, really trying to give them a great experience, however that might look. And how might we be able to do it? And it was interesting. I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, just about service and how service works. And he was talking about it within his line of work. He works at a local hospitality place. And he said what they really try to do is focus on what he called predictive service. And I thought that is a great phrase, predictive service. Now, what is predictive service? Service is where you look at what people might need and you anticipate those needs. And so you try as best you can to be ready to fulfill those needs that other people will come to you with. So you're trying to predict them and you're trying to see how it all works. For example, a hotel where they know that a family's driven a long way, or most of their clients have driven a long way. First question is going to be, where's the restroom, or where's the restaurant, whatever it might be. And you try to be predictive in your service there. I remember when my wife and I, we decided to do a little tour of Napa Valley, beautiful wine country in California. We were at a hotel there, and I left my phone out, and came back, and the phone was plugged in with a little recharging cable that, of course, was branded for that hotel. But it was a really nice little thing. That's predictive service. They were thinking about, people oftentimes forget their chargers, which I had. So they just put one in, plugged in my phone, and the phone was right there, recharged. It was great. It was a little bit of predictive service. So those are some of the thoughts, friends, is like predictive service. And again, there's a lot of spiritual principles to that, and the spiritual principle there really is, again, comes down to this goodwill, this service, having the eyes to see what other people need. And that is true in the moment. And also trying to have the eyes to see of what they might need, trying to predict that, what they might need, what they might want. And being prepared and set up to do just that very thing. And I think that's a great little takeaway for today. Where is a place for you in your life where you can show up with a little bit of predictive service? And it's thinking through what will somebody really want in this kind of event, in this kind of situation. Maybe you have a friend with a ailing parent, predictive service, like trying to think through what are the needs that they're going to have as the future unfolds, trying to anticipate those and be in place for those. I think about going away to college. If you have kids at home and they're going away to college, what's the predictive service there? What are the little things you can anticipate, the needs you can anticipate, and how can you serve them in those things? Sort of position yourself now to do that. And whatever it might be, but it really is a beautiful phrase. And it's the idea, friends, like we all know, I mean, it's wonderful when you go to a place, when you go to a business that is really good at this predictive service. And I've definitely seen, again, I do a lot of weddings. I do them all over the place. There are some places that are just phenomenal at it. They're always thinking through. They're always predicting. They're always one step ahead. They make it really easy to come in there, be part of the whole event. It feels very easy. It feels natural. And that's because they're predictive about it. They kind of know what's going to happen. Just a little silly one was a little wedding I did up in Bucks County, and the hotels here, the parking lot is actually one street over at the Doylestown Playhouse. Those of you who are local will recognize that name. Those who aren't obviously won't. But it's sort of not a full block, but kind of a half block separating the parking lot from the hotel, because the hotel is this little tiny hotel right on the river, Delaware River there. And I park, and I still don't know how they did this. And I'm parking. I'm headed over to do the ceremony, and somebody comes walking around, and they knew it was me right away. And they, because I guess they looked at a picture online or whatever, and they said, Reverend Blair, so great to have you here. I'm going to walk you over to the hotel. And they walked me the half a block to the hotel. I still don't quite know how they pulled that off. But it was impressive. That's predictive service. What did they predict? They predict that I get befuddled. No, not that I personally, but that that parking is the hotels sort of hidden back in there, and their predictive bit was they were going to help the people get on over to this little hotel to do the ceremony. It was a wonderful ceremony, wonderful day. Those are the kinds of things, friends, we want to think through. So for today, just again, as best you can, be thinking through predictive service in your life, be that at work or at home, and just bring that goodwill that will always, again, that trine that I told you yesterday will help you to think, decide, and most importantly, to act. So I hope that makes sense, dear friends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to shift gears. And we're going to shift gears into Gentle Landing here at New Church Live. We do a little prayer bell, do a little meditation, little prayer, little blessing, and we'll say hi to friends who are joining us on Facebook today. So with that, let's get a little breath. And the prayer bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little shout out to folks who are joining us online today. And as always, wishing everyone just a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. And day filled with a lot of good stuff, or as much good stuff as is possible. Martha, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. All righty. Flip on over to here. All right. There we go. Oops. Keeps on flipping here. Yeah, maybe. Oh, there we go. Did not freeze. There we go. Gene, good morning to you, my friend. Sherry, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Rita, always good to see you joining us. Marcus, good to see you, buddy. That was sort of a fun meeting. I was laughing about our laughter during our meeting yesterday. So anyhow, friends, wishing you all the very best. God bless. Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow on 10